Hi guys. So today we'll be continuing our programming series for kids. Let's look at our activities list real quick. So today we'll be going into what's on this unhighlighted section of the activities list, and our first thing is buttons. So um, let's see. Let's go into that. So sorry, I was messing with this thing. We're just gonna go ahead and do new, and we're going to expand this out, and we're going to actually go graphics window, show, and we're just going to set ourselves up here. Okay, so buttons. Buttons. So this is going to be a little bit different because buttons are a little bit more complicated, and this will kind of test what I've taught you previously. So yeah. So you go controls dot. As I said, this is a bit different, and you get these options here. So in here you can add buttons or text boxes or multi-line text boxes or whatever you want. We're gonna go controls dot add button, and you go in here and do. So what we're gonna want for this is we're gonna want a caption, which is the name of the button, you know, something like this or this or this, stuff like that. So the caption will have to be in quotes, and we're just gonna go ahead and we're gonna name it button because why not? Then we're gonna need its position on the graphics window, which I'm just gonna go 0, 0, which will put it up in the corner up here, which will be fine for now. So that's a button, and if we run this, we should get button right here. Now it doesn't do anything because I'm not done, but now buttons are useless without functionality, so what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to give this a variable. So we're just going to do button1 is equal to something simple. We're going to go do controls dot button clicked is equal to, and yes, you actually can do that here. So you're just going to put a variable name, anything you want, it doesn't matter. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to name it button func, and then we're going to go sub, and we're going to name it button func. Yes, it actually has to be exactly the same as this, because otherwise you will get a lot of errors and things that you don't necessarily want. And sub. Now you're going to want controls dot last. Well, what am I doing? Last clicked button. We're going to give this one a variable, and we're going to name this last clicked button is equal to, we're going to go and if button 1 is equal to last clicked button, then text window dot write line. No, text window dot show. And if. Okay, so to explain what all this does before we run the program here. So basically, this is the name of your subroutine here, which is obvious because that declares your subroutine there. You don't always have to do that for subroutines, but in this case, this calls the subroutine. Don't ask me why that is. So basically, this creates your button right here. This calls your subroutine. This gets when the button is clicked, and then and then this executes all that and creates a text window should the button be clicked. So if we click run, we go button, there you go. So there you go. That is the easiest way I know, and there's a lot more complicated tutorials online. I am straightforward and to the point. Now, if you want to make it do something besides show a text window, anything you want the button to do goes inside of this if statement you created here. So, yeah, that's it. That's pretty much it. Now, what's on our what is next on our list of things to do? So buttons is complete. I know it's short. This video is gonna be really short unless we get into this. Unless we get deep into this text boxes. So you want to add a text box. So you want somewhere where the user can type on the graphics window, like you do the text window. But it's not as simple as the text window. It's actually more complicated than the text window. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and we're going to do this. We're gonna create another. We're gonna create a text window. So we're gonna go controls dot add text box. Some kind of text window, some kind of place where the user can. So it's gonna want your position, your left top. That's the same as X, Y. They just, I don't know. They changed it halfway through. I have no idea why they just didn't go X and Y, because it's basically the same thing. See, the X coordinate of the text box and the Y coordinate of the text box. They're calling it left top, but it's the same thing. So, with that in mind, we're just going to go ahead and go 0 on the x-axis and 45 on the y-axis. So we put it below the button. So now that should add text box. Now you can't see that very good, so what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to go graphics window dot background color, and we're going to go ahead and make the background color black, and that makes it easier to see. There's your text box. Okay, so actually this would be more logical to make this 0, 0, make this 45. Unless you're backwards, in which case it doesn't really matter that much. There's your text box, but at the moment, it doesn't do anything. Well, apparently it does. It looks like it does something. It does not do anything. So what we're going to do, and yeah, in this case, syntax ordering doesn't really matter. So, yeah, my battery's done. Sorry about that. Got that fixed. So, there you go. So we just added the background color. So now what you're going to want to do is you're going to go and give this text box a variable. So anything, I'm just going to go text1. Easy to remember, and yeah, you know, creative. Now what you're going to want to do, if you want your button to work so that when you press it, it executes the code to the text box, whatever that might be. So you would go controls dot get text box text. Now it wants text box name. When you see this, you're going to want to put the variable of whatever it's looking for. So it wants text box name. It's talking about this variable right here. Nothing else. It's talking about the variable of the button. So you just go text1. Simple as that. Nothing else to do. There you go. So now we give this a variable, which we're going to go ahead and do text2 just for simplicity here. And now we're going to go below our if statement. We're going to go if text2 is equal to Frank or Frank, then graphics window.hide. So what graphics window.hide does, it probably is pretty obvious by this point, but it hides the graphics window. It makes it not visible. So there you go. That's how you do it. And don't forget your end if. So if we go ahead and run this, and we go and we put Frank, click button, nothing happens. So we obviously screwed up somewhere. Frank let's see, where are we? Why aren't we working here? What have we done wrong here? Obviously we screwed up something, and I've had problems with this not working right for whatever reason. So here we go. Text, somebody's gonna probably scream at me for missing that. 2 is equal to. Okay, so now that we fixed that little issue, Frank hides the graphics window. There you go. So there you go. That is one of the simplest ways I know how to do it. I mean, I'm sure there's other ways, but that's one of the more simplest ways. That's the simplest ways. If you want to add another text box, you just add, well, another text box, and you add another one of these. And then obviously you'll have to have different variables because you can't use the same variable for two different things. That's how things work. And there you go. So that is your primary way of getting functionality in buttons and other in text boxes. But if I type anything else, absolutely nothing happens because there's nothing programmed to happen. So we can go else graphics window dot show message. I never showed you this, but basically it gives an error message. It's kind of like an error message, so it wants the text of the message. So input invalid, error is the title, and that should, now when you put anything but Frank, input invalid. But if you put Frank, it hides the graphics window. There you go. So you can do that, or if you want to, you can also use an else's statement and add another text box. Same way I did this one, exactly the same way. You do not need two subroutines. I've seen people do this. You do not need two subroutines for two different buttons. If you want to add two buttons, just branch off of this if statement. If you want two text boxes, branch off this if statement right here. Do not make another subroutine. You don't need two of these. You don't need two of these. I've seen people do that and wonder why it does not work, because that's not how it works. So just don't do it. So there you go, and I think that's all there is to show you with that, actually. Unless there's something I'm missing, which I don't think so. So, math. Yeah, we're doing that. That's boring, I know, but yeah, we're doing that. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go Control N. That's the keys I'm pressing to do new on my keyboard. Control N, or I think Mac is like Command N, but I've never owned a Mac, so I don't know. Besides that point, so to do math, if you're looking for like random numbers or whatever, you go math dot, and now you get this. You can find the square root of something, whatever sin does. You can round numbers. I actually don't know what that does, if it rounds up or down or what. You can divide, sorry. Whatever that is, get the pi value of something, whatever that is, get the minimum value of two numbers, get the maximum value of two numbers, whatever that is, get a random number. So you can get a random number, and then you put the max number, so 1,000, and it will get anything from between 1 and 1,000 randomly. So we can print this on the screen by doing this. I'm going text window. Maybe if you can work right. Dot right, and we can go like this. What am I doing? What am I doing? Oh my god. I'm a failure at typing. 378. And just to prove it, I'm going to go ahead. 667. 814. There you go. You got the basic idea with that. Getting the square root of something. So if you want to go math dot square root. And then you're going to obviously want user input here. So if you can type or use your keyboard or whatever your problem is, if you can do that, then you can do it. I can't for some reason today. I can't ever, actually. Every video I've done, I've screwed it up somehow in typing. Unfortunately, that's something that's hard to cut out of a video. But I try. Okay, so what you're going to want to do is we're going to give this a variable. So we're going to go H, and we're going to do this, and then we're going to go text window dot read number, and that just reads the number, just the number. It won't read anything else. And then text window dot write line H. So we're going to want to do, if my mouse will work right, we're going to want to give this a variable, and then we're going to want to put the variable in here, meaning that whatever the user types goes in here, and then it prints out the square root of that value. So 114. No, we should actually do this. We should actually erase this so this doesn't confuse us. And 20, square root of 20 is 4.472135.9, whatever. So it's going to give you the big technical numbers, but it was 4.4. So you got my drift there. If you don't believe me, use a calculator. Want to divide something. I've never done that. So let's go math, if you can type, dot remainder. So divided, dividend, and divisor. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go k is equal to, and then you're going to want to go text window dot read number, and text window dot read number. So now we're going to give these two a variable. We're going to give this one Q, and this one will be A. So now we're going to do is we're going to put Q A. Now if we want to divide something, we go 50 divided by 220, and oh, well, look at that, we didn't print our answer. So text window, that's a newbie mistake, right line, okay, there we go. So run. So 220 divided by 35 is 10. There you go. So just to prove my point here, I will go ahead and show you what that is. So calculator, oh, I'm not spelling it right. How dumb. Calculator, and 220 divided by 35 is 6.2. Is that the number I did, or wait? Hold on a moment. What number did I do? Okay, let's do something simpler. Let's do 10 divided by 5. 5 divided by 10. 5, 10, it's 5. Okay. And everyone knows that, but just to prove in case there's some people here that don't, we're going to go ahead and we're going to go 5 divided by 10 is 5. There you go. Ignore the 0, it just does that. I don't know why it does that. So, it's 5. So, that is math. Well, for the most part, math, and you can also get the minimum and maximum of two numbers. So if you have two numbers, like, okay, so if you have G is equal to 500 and G is equal to, and G E is equal to 499, and you go math dot minimum, or no, maximum, and you put 500 and 499, and then you go and you put a variable. So D is equal to, and whoa, instead of using the arrow keys, I'm hitting 0 for some reason. And then you go text window dot right, you go D, and it will find the maximum of the two values. So it's going to obviously print 500. See. And just to make a more drastic point here, we'll go 750 and 10. And you'll see that it picks the higher value. And it works the same with min. So if we change this to minimum, we did that, and we ran it, it would pick 10. There you go. See? So if you want to know the lower of two numbers, if they're like really high numbers, like a million, billion, trillion, then you can do that. Not guaranteeing it'll do that. We're going to go ahead and close this. And what else is there here? Math dot, I think I've gotten everything that I understand. Anyways, so yeah, not entirely sure how round works. I don't even know what sin is. You count me out on that one. So pretty much I think I have explained everything that I really understand completely. So what I'm going to do, I'm not really math savvy here, so what I'm going to do is we're going to move on to arrays. Yay. Okay, so just a forewarning, you'll never use these, I guarantee you, unless you're doing something like a mini AI or something. You're probably going to never use these. If you're programming in like automated responses or some other thing, then maybe, but you're not going to ever use arrays. Basically, if I can remember how to do this, an array is basically G equals, no. It's G, and then it has little boxes, and then it's equal to whatever value. And so whatever you put in these boxes, so 50 and 150, and then it is equal to value. And then you can print these out or whatever, so you can go text window. I ain't gonna show you much on this because I never use it ever. G, and then it prints out. I don't know what it prints out. There you go. That's what it prints out. 50 equals 150 equals value. So there you go. That's arrays. It's basically, think of bank vaults, bank boxes. Think of boxes, and they're kind of like and it's holding a value of gold. So it's holding, one's holding 50 gold and one's holding 150 gold, and then you can make another one, and 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 another one. You can do that as many times as you want, but the more you add, the slower it loads. Like I said, don't use it generally, so I'm not going to show you much, but you can do this multiple times, and then you can just keep doing it like this, and then is equal to whatever value, yada yada yada, so on and so forth. So, and you can add as many of these boxes as you really want to, but as I said, it actually slows down the program because it has to load all that stuff. So if you were doing like co-workers and things like that, and that would be something you could use it for. So those are arrays. Like I said, I don't understand them much, and I've never really had a reason to use them, so I'm not going to. System. Now that's some much more interesting things than arrays, because who uses arrays? I mean, seriously. How many experienced programmers that are watching this for giggles actually uses arrays? Probably almost never. What am I talking about? Okay. So, system stuff. So, what I'm talking about is mouse, for example. Mouse is a system thing. You can hide your cursor, show your cursor, which it does what it sounds like it does. Is left button down. This is for key binding, which we'll get into in another episode. And then you can get the position of the mouse, which is another thing we'll get into another episode. But this is basically system stuff. So all the functions in these system stuff is another video. Is for another video. Network. I actually am not entirely sure what any of this stuff does, so I couldn't explain it. Just reading it, it says download the file from the network to a local temporary file, gets the contents of a specified web page, which I've never gotten to work, so whatever. Let's see, what else is there? Sound, you can go sound dot play, and then you need a sound file, so you need an MP3 file. Sound.play, bell ring, and then we can just erase these. And now you're just gonna apparently hear nothing. Either my volume's muted or it's not working for some reason. I'm probably not doing something right. I'm sure it has something to do with me not having a graphics window. So I bet you if we did graphics window dot show sound.play bell ring. There you go. There's the bell ring. That's sound. This is basically just system stuff I'm going through with you. So that's sound. You can do timers, which isn't really a system thing. Clock, so you can display the date. So if you want the date, you can display the date, or the year, or the whatever. Doesn't really matter. So clock, date, and then you can go text window. Jeez. Dot right line G, and now it'll output this date. This video was recorded on 2/5/2019, February 5th, 2019. For those of you who are not American. And don't read dates like that, because I think they're written a little bit differently in Europe. I think it's like 5/2/2019 or something. I don't know. It's 19 5 2. I think is how it's written in Europe. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Back on topic here. So that's pretty much the system stuff. I mean, there isn't a lot to go into. I mean, desktop, so that's another system thing. So width, height, set wallpaper. Guess if you want something that'll set your wallpaper for you, or you have somebody in your house that isn't really tech savvy and wants to set their wallpaper, yes, you can make them something simple that would enable them to do that. Height, width, get to the screen height and width, which actually is as easy as doing this. on Windows 8 anyways. You just go PC settings, and I think it's PC settings. It might be control panel, actually. Control panel. You go, where's the resolution? I hate the way these things are made. They're freaking stupid. Adjust screen resolution, and there's your screen size right there. That's how simple it is to find your screen size. You do not need programming to find your screen size. But in the case that you really need your screen size that bad, and it's simpler for you to do this, be my guest. But yeah, that's desktop. There's dictionary, which isn't a system thing, but well, you already know what a dictionary is, right? I don't need to explain that. Flickr isn't a system thing, but it's interesting. You can get like a picture of the moment or a random picture or whatever. Careful, copyright laws, at least in the US, copyright laws. You have to be careful. That's for another video. And I think I'm done. So I'm going to leave you here, since I'm actually running out of things. I'll show you this one last thing here. So this program, and you can basically, this program.end basically will close it. Will close whatever it is that you want to, whatever program you're making. So program.end will just immediately close it. This gets the executing programs directory, and delay, well, basically it delays the execution of code. I have no idea what argument count does, or get argument. So I'll have to leave you here, and thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and see you in the next video.